The ambulance sped down the road, racing toward an emergency call. The sky was overcast, and the team had already faced countless challenges that difficult day. But suddenly, something unexpected happened. The driver was forced to slow down abruptly. Right in the middle of the road lay a dog, perfectly still. Beside it, sitting quietly on the edge of the asphalt, was a woman watching the scene with a calm gaze, as if she had been waiting for them all along. The driver honked once, then twice. Nothing. The dog didn't flinch at the sound, nor did it seem afraid of the approaching vehicle. The scene immediately caught the team's attention. In all their years working in emergency services, they had seen plenty, but never anything like this. One of the nurses decided to act. She opened the ambulance door and carefully approached. The dog calmly stood up and walked to the side of the road but didn't go far. As soon as the nurse got back into the vehicle, the dog returned to the same spot, blocking the way again. It was then that she realized this wasn't just an obstacle. Determined to understand what was going on, the nurse stepped out once more. This time, she slowly tried to get closer. The dog looked at her intently, then turned and began walking toward a patch of thick brush, glancing back as if urging her to follow. And that's exactly what she did. A few steps later, hidden among the bushes, she suddenly stopped. Lying on the ground, almost completely concealed, was an elderly man, unconscious. He looked as though he had passed out some time ago. The team was called immediately. Within minutes, the paramedics had him loaded into the ambulance and rushed toward the hospital. The loyal dog ran after the vehicle the entire way. At the hospital, the animal was welcomed and fed. The staff showered him with affection, deeply moved by his loyalty and courage. When the man was eventually transferred from the ICU to a regular ward, the entire team insisted that the dog be allowed to visit him. After much persuasion, the head doctor finally agreed. And when the two friends were reunited, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. The dog whimpered softly, tail wagging nonstop. The man, tears streaming down his face, gently stroked his faithful companion. Even the nurses and doctors were overcome with emotion. From that moment on, the man's recovery was nothing short of remarkable. Every day, he would sit by the window, hoping to catch sight of his loyal friend. He begged to go outside, just to be close to him again, like during their walks together. The medical team was touched by the deep and genuine bond they shared. Later, the diagnosis was confirmed. He had suffered a stroke while out walking his dog. If it hadn't been for the animal's determination to stop the ambulance, the man might never have been found in time. In the days that followed, the dog refused to leave the hospital grounds. The man's wife tried to bring him home, but he resisted, barking and growling. It was only their son who finally managed to calm him and get him into the car. But just a few hours later, the dog escaped and returned to the hospital, as faithful as ever. Stories like this remind us how loyal and loving animals can be. They're more than companions. They're true guardian angels,